floors at Lost Art Press, and if you've looked at any of the pictures of our shop or watched any of our videos, you might have seen our tool walls that we have behind us. And we get a lot of questions from readers. What are these tools and what purpose do they serve? And why are they not in your tool chest? These are our communal tools. And today we're going to take a look at some of them and tell you a little bit about where they came from and what they do, because some of them are somewhat unusual. So we'll start by coming over here to the other side. What you can see from here is that these are actually a bookcase back here. So when we want to turn this into a bookstore, because we sell books, you might know, we take this off, and behind here are all of our wares. And so that's why we have these tool walls, to protect the books from dust. While we're over here, you can see I have my brace hanging up here. This is for drilling fairly large diameter holes in wood. It's a Yankee, one of the best braces ever made, kind of the Rolls Royce of braces. We use it quite often in chair making. Also, as you'll see, everywhere there is a nail, there's going to be chair templates everywhere, because I have lots and lots of chair templates. So we'll start over here on the front of the wall with this guy. And this looks like an animal or something, but we call this a Durer or Melancholia Square, after a woodcut by Albrecht Durer. And this is a square that I saw in this like 15th, 16th century engraving, a square in a 15th or 16th century engraving that is extremely useful. I made one of these based on the engraving, and it's just super great for laying out square lines across wide stock. So this just goes up against there and you mark it. One of the most used tools in our shop constantly when breaking down stock. I want to make one of these commercially, but I've gotten kind of hung up on a couple things. This is our panel gauge from our good friend Jeff Hamilton down in Arkansas. And so this is what we use for marking lines parallel to a long edge. So if we're going to rip a board to this wide, this will go on the jointed edge, and then a pencil or a knife in this side will mark out the parallel edge so that we can rip that and plane to that with a saw. Panel gauges are really important to us. And so we will go down here, and this little guy, if you know the H.O. Studley tool chest, this might look familiar to you. This was the first tool we ever made before we were a tool company, and it's a thickness caliper. So you can see that my finger there is a certain thickness. I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to tell you what my thickness is with my thumb. That's rude. And we made this years and years ago when the Studley book came out. But then our friend Jamil Abraham made this little holder for it, which is based on the Studley tool chest. And it's just so cute, with aluminum and ebony and mahogany, and we just love it to bits. Over here, we'll stay down here. This is a new knife that I've been testing that I really like. You'll hear more about these knives soon. The Jose Cruz, very inexpensive, very sharp oak knife. And then another thing, we have a sliding bevel that we sell. This is Bridge City's. I always like to test other people's tools and make sure that ours are actually worth a crap. And this Bridge City one does lock remarkably well, and it does 10 other things, including this will julienne your fries. And this one over here, I think it's for, it's something bad to do with rabbits. Up here, we have levels. We're not carpenters, but we do use levels in our work quite a lot. This is a small machinist level from Starrett. This was my grandfather's level that he bought at Sears and still has the price tag on it, $17.51 from my grandfather. We use these when cutting tenons in chair making because they keep our tools and our work level, but we love these little levels. We'll go next here to this. This is one of the products that we make. These are called pinch rods, and we make the metal part, and then customers make the wood part so they can make it whatever size they want. But this makes an expandable and shrinkable kind of stick that can go to any length so that you can check the inside corners of a glued up assembly, and that will tell you if your work is square. If it goes into the corners and both corners are equal, then you know that your work is square. So these are called pinch rods, and we love these, especially when making tool chests, which Megan makes a lot of. Next to it here, another weird stick, stick with things on it, we call them. This is a large compass that I bought this from Micromark. These are very inexpensive, not very good Trammel points, but what I like about them, the reason I bought them, is they were cheap and I could file this one open, so instead of holding a point, it will hold a mechanical pencil. And that's gold for when you want to draw wide arcs and you want to have a line of a consistent thickness, which is what the mechanical pencil will give us. Above us, we have this is at the top because we all worship it on high. This is our Starrett 24-inch combination square. I bought this new. I might have had a couple beers before I ordered it because it's very expensive. But this thing has saved our butts so many times. When you need to lay out dados across an entire case side, or when you need to mark a very odd measurement deep into a piece of casework, this thing is just gold. Or when you need to get two case sides and put them together to make sure that they are both square, that both edges are square before you start dovetailing. I first saw this at Phil Lowe's, and Phil used it for all these things, and I said, I have to have one. And then one night, you should not drink and shop, especially with Starrett stuff. Down here we have our scissor collection. We always need scissors for this, that, or the other, so we just have a knob with a bunch of scissors on it. This is another thing that we make. This is our bench square, which I use all the time for laying out 90s, 45s, and also we have a perfectly square edge there so that we can put this on any board and while we're edge planing it and make sure that it is square. It has 1,001 uses and we haven't discovered them all. I'd make a lot of circles. I think in circles all the time. My chairs have a lot of arcs, and so I'm going to have lots of compasses. These are both Starrett compasses. This is an old one. This is a relatively new one. Oh, and here's another one. They just seem to grow, the number 92. In addition to making circles all the time, we're making irregular curves, and that's what these French curves are for. These are the ones that we make. They're out of bamboo, and then these are ones that Chris Keene makes with Sterling Tool Works, his large metal ones. We use both of them. Over here is a tool. This is a multi-tool, but I only use it for finding centers. So when I need to turn a leg or a spindle, I'll put that in here, and then I can mark the center by rotating this around, and it'll mark the center on this. Handy tool, but it has a bunch of other stupid functions that we don't use. Paint can opener and nose picker. These are winding sticks that are made by a friend of mine. She made these for me. She is a woodworker in Canada. People say, oh, where's the other one? Well, this is both of them. And you pull them apart like that. And those aren't magnets. It's just a really nice fit that she got there. And a really nice tool. But this is for determining if a board has twist in it. So if I put these on either end of a board and they're tilted like this, I can tell that the board is twisted very easily. It exaggerates those. So winding sticks. Some people call them unwinding sticks. We're almost there. Hang on. This is a tool that most woodworkers don't use or need. It looks like a giant double square, and it is a giant double square. But one of the other cool things it does is it has this knob here. Ooh. And so it's also like a giant bevel. And so what I use this for is in designing my chairs. Roofers use this for laying out rafters, but chair makers can use this because I can then put this down onto a chair seat and set it at a certain angle, and I can envision what that leg is going to look like when it is at this compound angle from all around the chair. And we also use it as a combination square or double square. I got this one really cheap on eBay, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. And then we also have yardsticks. You would be shocked by how much I use a yardstick, especially in chair making. These things, you get them for free from your local hardware store, or if you come visit us at Lost Art Press. But this tool is in my hand all the time. And we have an oldish Veritas machinist straight edge that we use when we really need to check something to see if it's within 1/1000th of an inch or something like that. Very handy to have one of these around to prove things are working or not working. So that's tool wall number 1, and I hope you'll stay tuned for tool wall number 2.